correctional officers. And since it was in prison, they can't charge him. They released him, dude. And I was like, let that motherfucker out. He's like 65 now. And I was like, let that motherfucker out, dude. He will be dead the first day, that motherfucker. Dude, I told my buddy, I was like, man, I would have fucking pizza delivery man deliver pizza. And when he opened the fucking door, dude, I'd blow his fucking head off. I would have a taxi driver go pick him up from the prison and be like, yo, I'm here to pick you up. This is your ride. And then when the taxi driver's driving down the road, dude, I would fucking cut that goddamn car in half. I'm telling you what, dude. One day I had this fucking neighbor that was hardcore drunk, but he's an ex-convict, man, and he raped like a girl and her child and went to prison and got out. This is real life, my neighbor, where I was living at the time with my wife. And one of the guys was over there, and I went over and I was like, hey, look, y'all took some trees down. They're laying in my ditch, blocking my driveway. Can you take that excavator and move them out of the way? And he's like, yeah, I'm Derek. I'm your neighbor. You know, these are my employees. And I was like, nice to meet you. And I was like, hey, what do you know about Bruce Lee? And he was like, he had a big-ass picture of Bruce Lee on his desk. And I was like, what do you know about Bruce Lee? He was the baddest motherfucker to walk this planet. And he was like, oh, I know that. He's like, what do you know about him? I was like, well, here, let me show you. And there was this big-ass fucking, like, mechanic that was on his job. He's like, looked like Stone Cold Steve Austin. And I weigh about 140 pounds soaking wet. And I was like, put your hand on me. Reach out and touch me. And he reached out and touched me, and I, like, twisted his arm around, and I had him in, like, a wrist lock. And I was like, look, I can hyperextend your elbow right here. I can break your wrist right here. I said, I can snap your neck this way. And I like put my leg around his neck. And each way he was like begging me to stop. You know, the dude took off like 2 days from work afterwards. And my neighbor was like, man, you did a real number on my fucking employee. He asked for 2 days off because you hurt his arm. And I was like, oh, I was just showing him, you know, that there's nothing he can do. Like, he's helpless. And the dude, the drunk, like, pushed the fucking landlord's wife off the porch, dude. And he threatened to burn my house to the ground and kill all of my kids. And my neighbor called me. Yeah, my neighbor called me Derek, and it was his fucking wife that the dude pushed off the porch, told him he wasn't gonna pay and shit. And I never liked the fucking criminal anyhow. I'm not like that, dude. I'll come put my fucking foot up your ass if I feel like it's necessary. And so Derek called me and he told me what happened, and then I fucking called the dude and I was like, give me his number, I'm on my way. He's like, I don't want to mess with him, you know, I can't handle him. And he's like, I figured that you can settle this. And I was like, yeah, but I don't want you to be there. I was like, I don't want you testifying in court against me. It's just my word against his, okay? So you need to leave the property. Yeah. I'm on my way. I called the dude and I was like, look, you better be fucking gone when I get there. You threatened to fucking burn my house to the ground and shoot my kids. I said, I'm on my way to you right now, and I'm telling you what, my fucking tachometer is shutting my vehicle down, so you better get gone right now before I get there, or I will bury your fucking ass in that yard.
Hell yeah.
And, dude, like, he left, right? Well, he come home one day, and my daughter was like 2 years old, and I was teaching her how to fucking ride a tricycle. And, he comes flying down the road, dude. My driveway is right next to my neighbor's. And so, he comes around the corner in like a Z71 truck, and he's drunk, and he overturned and came down my driveway, and that ditch they dug out with all them trees, he jackknifed his truck in there, but I happened to snatch my daughter off the bike and grab the bike out of the way. Just, if I wouldn't have grabbed her, he would have, like, plowed her across the fucking ditch, dude, and killed her. He would have smashed her to pieces. Yeah, so I grabbed my daughter and I grabbed her bike and I ran it down the road. because my driveway was like a half a mile long. I ran it down to my wife and I said, listen, keep the kids inside. I don't want them to see this. I'm going to handle this shit right now. So I ran over there.
Yeah.
And we call him the Hatchet Man, okay? This guy. He's not the rapist anymore. He's the fucking Hatchet Man, because we'll get to that. But I go over there, dude, and he runs and he hides in the landlord's house and locks himself in. So I kicked the door off the fucking hinges.
Yeah.
And I beat the fuck out of him, dude. I had like the chair leg from the chair, and I put it over his throat, and I just kept punching him in the fucking face. And I kept choking him out, and I was like, you know the reason you fucking live? Because I'm allowing you to live. And he's like, fuck you, motherfucker, fuck you. So I choked him out and beat him in the face some more, dude. I beat his ass unconscious, right? Like the fourth time I choked him out, he stopped breathing. So I ripped the fucking outlet out the wall, out of the fucking landlord's wall, and ripped the fucking electrical box off and started shocking him with the wires, trying to shock him back. I get him back, and I'm covered in blood, and I walk out there and I told the landlord, I said, hey man, you need to call the ambulance, I was never here. And he's like, alright. So the fucking dude leaves.
Hey,
Like,
the
he goes to the
pyro's
hospital.
at the central station, dude.
Oh shit, I'm just running around in a circle over here. And so the fucking dude leaves, right? And he goes to the hospital. He gets out of the hospital. Like 4 or 5 months later, I come home and I get a knock at the door, and it's the sheriff's department. And they're like, "Hey, there's a neighbor's got a gun. He's threatening to shoot everyone. We need to get your family out of here. How many people are in this household?" I said, "Look, there's me and 2 kids and my wife." I said, "But I'm not walking by the guy with the gun." I said, "You're going to call down the road. You're going to get authorization for me to drive my SUV down there, because at least if he shoots me, I can still roll down to where all those cops are, and they can protect my kids." I said, "There's no way I'm going to carry all them by the shooter and keep running." I said, "At least I can hold my foot to the floor, and when I slam into those cars in the end, my kids will be safe." And she's like, "All right, hold on." And she's like, "All right, they gave you authorization to drive down there." And I said, "Okay." I said, "But listen, I want to forewarn you. I got over 3,000 armored piercing rounds in this house." I said, "I've got multiple guns in here. And if he gets in this house, he'll probably have more guns than your whole entire police department." I said, "So do not let them get by that barricade. You need to barricade my house off. Because I'm not taking no weapons with me. But you can not let him in my home." And the officer was like, "All right, thank you for that information." But dude, he was like on PCP and hacked up one of the fucking people that came there with him. They were doing PCP, and he took a hatchet and like, cut the guy up with a fucking hatchet. And
What?
yeah, and I got down to the end of the road, and they're like, "Do you know anything about this guy?" And I was like, "No, I don't know much about him other than he's a rapist, he's a criminal, and he's a piece of shit." I didn't tell him that I threatened his life, but the landlord's the one that drugged the fucking guy out of the house that he chopped up. Like, the guy was running, and he was like hitting him in the back with a hatchet, dude, and like cut his back all open, cut his arm open, cut his fucking head open and shit. Dude survived, but he had a whole bunch of brain trauma.
Dude, yeah, you think?
Yeah, so, long story short, we call him the Hatchet Man, but I was like, "Look, y'all, I gotta go to work. It's fucking been like 6 hours. If y'all don't go in there and go get him out, I will." And my neighbor just started fucking busting out laughing because he knew I didn't put that motherfucker in the hospital like 6 months earlier. And
Right.
I would have went over there and fucked that motherfucker up, dude. I'd have just cut the fucking house
Bro,
in
what the
half.
fuck? I'm down. Is there nobody with me?
Hold on. Yeah, I'm with you. Don't use it.
Oh, yeah.
I was killing these guys coming up behind of us.
Thanks, bro. Jesus Christ. I'm down again.
Oh shit.
Where is that guy? Fucking...
Medical request to nearby operators.
I don't know, but these fucking 2 plates are